If you could tell us broadly about the business model of our company, what are the segments we operate in?
When we came across manufacturing IV fluids and other sterile formulations by way of using blow-fill-seal technology, we got interested and we started understanding the space.
And geographically, how well are we spread out? What is the kind of marketing network we have created?
So we have 6 therapeutic segments, and the business outlook and the way of doing business, it varies from therapy to therapy.
Welcome, friends. My name is Avinash Gorakshakar, and I welcome all of you to another interesting episode of Konexio High Flyers. Friends, as all of you are aware, we introduce emerging companies from emerging sectors, and we make it a point to talk to the promoters and the top managements of such companies. This helps us get first-hand information from the promoters as regards their business model, their growth journey, their future growth plans, and this helps all our investors to take a very conscious investment call. And friends, today we have got another interesting company from the pharma space. The company today we are going to introduce is Amanta Healthcare Limited. And I have the privilege of having the chairman and managing director, Mr. Bhavesh Patel. Bhaveshji, it's a pleasure for me to host you, and thank you very much for your valuable time with us today.
Thanks, Avinashji, for hosting us.
And we also have Mr. Sailesh Shah, who's the president finance of the company. Shaileshji, welcome to you also. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for hosting us.
Yeah. So first question, Bhavesh bhai, which is a very elementary question, but which is very important from the investor standpoint. If you could tell us broadly about the business model of our company, what are the segments we operate in? And I believe we operate in various segments. So if you could give us a brief overview, and just a related question to that, Bhavesh bhai, would be how did this business journey start? You have created this entity, but how did you start this business journey? I mean, how did you hit upon that idea that we need to start a pharma business? So sir, थोड़ा business journey के बारे में बताइए.
Ji. So I will give a short background of myself. I have a mechanical engineering and finance background, and I also worked in investment banking for 1 year. And I don't know what prompted me, but I decided to start my own business.
Okay.
I spent good 2 years in evaluation. So anything which is engineering driven is very close to us naturally. So when we came across manufacturing IV fluids and other sterile formulations by way of using blow-fill-seal technology, we got interested and we started understanding the space. Our assessment was based on few macros. One, that healthcare sector in late 90s and early part was underserved, as we all understand and know. And now we can, validate, because what healthcare infra we see today and what it was 25 years back, there is no comparison.
Correct.
So we knew the healthcare sector was underserved. One, the Indian pharma industry was on the verge of migrating to global standards. So there was a general strong undertone across the industry to have good quality facilities and good quality products. So we thought that this would be very exciting space for us. Internally, I had 3 parameters for evaluation of business opportunity. One, it has to be capex intensive. There should not be any notional asset like branding or goodwill creation in the process. And third, there should be space to grow within in an organic fashion. So this was fitting into our broad assessment metrics. It was capex intensive. It's a difficult to make dosage form. Therefore, there are natural entry barriers. And the demand was growing consistently as healthcare sector was underserved. So this is how we evaluated. This is how we decided to get into this space. And we started this company along with my maternal uncles. And initially, we were only manufacturing IV fluids and some formulations. And thereafter, it has been a long story ahead.
Okay. I think very nicely articulated by you, Bhavesh bhai. If you could tell us, which are the segments like pain management hai, chronic hai. If you can tell us which segments, are we basically targeting? Like, that would give us a better understanding of the target audience in the pharma market you all are targeting.
Sure. So number one is fluid therapy, which is IV fluid.
Yeah,
So when you replenish fluid, basically you are putting water into your system, and along with water, you are actually you're hydrating the patient, and
correct,
along with hydrating, you are putting salts and calories.
correct.
Most essential things in any condition, whether it is fever management, whether it is pre-operative, post-operative recovery, uh, and most often any medication that you want to give to patient, including vitamins, you cannot
Yeah,
inject straight away.
correct.
Earlier, the practice was to just administer IV injection into the vein, but that is not something which is supported by medical fraternity. So you have to administer all the potent injections through IV fluid only.
Okay,
So
fine.
it took a while for that concept to catch up in India. So now, so that is one part. So number one, again to re-summarize, is a fluid replenishment and salt and calories with that.
Correct.
The second is antibiotics,
Yeah,
antifungal, anti-amoebic, and so on and so forth. These are formulated injectables. There are very few products which are stable in plastic. But if something is stable in plastic, then that's the best way to come out it because it has very high quality assurance level and it's very cost effective. 97% of injections are in dry powder form, so they need to be reconstituted at the time of administration. And water of injection, it's a very visible, it's a very benign product. It's just distilled water, but it's very, very difficult to make and validate. So that's something we do. In diluents, we have three offerings. One is simple distilled water, water of injection, one is saline salt for osmolarity, and lidocaine. Some
so,
injections are having higher molecular weight, so it's very painful to administer. So they dilute in a mild anesthetic like lidocaine. So
okay,
that is fourth is a respiratory care portfolio. Uh, but in that we do only nebulizing products like salbutamol, ipratropium, and so on and so forth. Fifth is ophthalmics. In ophthalmics, we do artificial tears, eye lubricants, and antibiotics, and again some steroids also we do. And the
okay,
last one is eye and wound irrigation product, which are
okay,
primarily used in markets like UK and Ireland and Australia. That is used in wound irrigation as well as phaco surgeries. So
okay.
this broadly covers all the therapeutic offerings that we have.
Okay. Okay. Now, I think very nicely articulated by you, Bhavesh bhai. Bhavesh bhai, now tell us one thing, like out of all these six kind of therapies, five to six therapies which you mentioned to us, which according to you has got the strongest growth potential, or across the five six therapies everything is growing rapidly, or any specific therapy where the company is putting a specific more strategic focus or more aggressive kind of growth plans. And finally, how is the pricing, like how is the pricing differing from each category? Like, is it more or less standardized, or every product is priced according to the function and to the requirements which you configure in the medicine? So sir, give us an idea about how is the pricing finally decided for all these product categories? Is it different, or is it more or less standardized across all the product categories?
So I will answer the second part of the question first. Uh, Pricing is it varies from therapy to therapy. So there is a demand pool in that space also.
Hmm.
So I think for a quality manufacturer, price is not a hurdle in that sense, because
Exactly.
what customers, meaning hospitals, look at is a reliable product and not necessarily a cheaper product.
Okay, correct.
So even government purchases are also now getting more specific and streamlined in that sense.
Yeah.
So one area of our uh, interest, immediate interest is to import. And back to back, we are also adding capacity in small volume parentals. Right now, small volume parentals, we have serious capacity constraint, so we can't offer more products. Once that line is commissioned, then we will be able to offer respiratory care products and diluents with consistent supply from our side.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think very nicely answered by you, Bhavesh bhai. Bhavesh bhai, now after telling us about the various segments you operate and the kind of strategic focus you have for which product categories, tell us, in terms of your customer profile, how much of it is private and how much if it is government. Like, if you could tell us the private government, mix in your overall customer mix, and typically, if you could give us some idea about your B2B customers, even if you don't share the names, at least what is the current customer kind of tally which you have, how many customers do you cater, if you could give us some idea on that aspect.
Yeah, so we don't do much of government business
Okay.
because Steriport is a costly product. The cost is higher. It has a feature which attracts extra cost.
Correct.
So we don't do much of government business. To summarize,
Okay.
most of our business in India is from private sector.
Right. Bhavesh bhai, now on the export market, if you could tell us, what is the size of the export market opportunity for us? Because we have been exporting to overseas markets also. So on the export market side, what is the total addressable market opportunity for us? So on that, if you could please share your thoughts.
So this last year we must have catered to around 21 countries. Now, that geographic expansion in a global market, we can't do much again for the same reason that we didn't have additional capacity.
Okay.
So, uh, geographic expansion will definitely happen, but more than that, we will be adding more products in the same geographies.
Okay. Fine.
So, this is what our plan would be.
Okay. Okay, fine, understood. Bhavesh, but now on the qualitative side of the business, financials are important, but in terms of the value add, in terms of the quality curve, in terms of the execution, can you tell us two, three qualitative points which tell us that we do our job much better and in a much different way, and we satisfy the customer need to the best of our knowledge, and that's why we get a decent amount of repeat business. So, if you could share two, three qualitative points for us which makes us more confident on the management profile and the kind of positioning we have made for ourselves in the pharma sector.
So, if you look at our manufacturing operations, optically, it would be appearing to be very engineering heavy operation, which is
Yeah.
true also.
Right.
So, a lot of mechanical and electronics and whatnot, is being applied in our operations. But at the core of all these processes, it starts with microbiology and ends with microbiology.
Okay.
The moment you say it's a sterile product means there is zero live organism. So you have to understand how the microbes come, how they survive, and how they go away from the system. So probably I would not have been able to answer your question in this length and breadth 20 years back. But by
Okay.
virtue of this space, now I have better appreciation about microbiology. As a
Okay.
student, I studied that subject very seriously. Uh, but so uh, so that's one. That's the nuance of our operation.
Okay.
In terms of organizational focus, uh, we typically have more people in Q and QC than production.
Okay. Okay.
That is very important.
Okay.
The other thing is we have to empower our shop floor supervisors. If they find any deviation, they have full freedom to stop the operation.
Okay. So I think these are basically the kind of attributes which we enjoy, and that is why, quality, credibility is something which is a hallmark for us. So I think nice to hear that, Bhavesh bhai.
Yeah,
Now,
and one more point, if you allow me,
yeah,
sterile product is globally classified as a difficult to make dosage form
okay, fine.
as compared to oral solids.
Oh, understood. No, no, I think got the point. Shailesh ji, now, sorry to keep you waiting for a long time, but now some broad information on the financials, if you can share for us for FY25. I was just seeing your numbers. So numbers are roughly about 280 crores of top line, compared to 274 crores. If you could give us some idea about, the overall financial performance for FY25 for the benefit of our viewers, in terms of the operating profitability, the profit after tax. If you could share some numbers and then tell us what is the broad outlook, for FY26 without giving numbers. since we are now in month of August. So, just from a kind of a investor perspective, everybody wants to know that can we manage the momentum what we have shown last year, or will it be better than last year? I mean, just a simple descriptive message from your side will also be more than enough.
So, if you see the performance of last 3 years, in terms of production capacity utilization, we have been operating more than 90% capacity utilization consistently, even 95, 96% also. So the
Hmm.
production capacity utilization consistent. In terms of revenue also, if you see, it is hovering around 275 to 280 in last 2 3 years. 5 crore, 6 crore here and there, mainly because of the accounting, exports, bill of lading not coming. That is making the difference. Otherwise, we are consistently having a revenue also of the last 3 years. In terms of EBITDA, if you see, it is having 58, now 61. Before that, it was 56. So it is steadily increasing. And there is no reason, if the things are there for 3 years, we will be able to continue or not.
So
In terms of
understood.
EBITDA profile, our
Yeah.
EBITDA, particular study port EBITDA is around 25-26%. And when we expand the capacity, we'll have an advantage of the operating leverage.
Okay, so understood. Shailesh ji, one thing I wanted to understand, for FY25, there was a big jump in your profit after tax. I think one of the reasons which I believe, we came to know is that the interest cost has come down, but from 3.5 crores to almost 10 crores profit. So, this kind of jump in the profit, was it because earlier the balance sheet was highly leveraged? So, a lot of profit was actually taken away by the interest cost, but after reduction in interest cost, that benefit you got. So do you think this will continue in future? I mean, what is the current leverage currently we have on the balance sheet like?
So the PAT that you are seeing 10.5, that also is a actually reduced effect. If you remove the one-off item from the FY25,
Okay,
we switched over from Piramal to Axis Finance and Aditya Birla in
okay,
April 24. So
okay,
the Piramal instrument was convertible, non-convertible debenture, and we have to
okay,
give back-ended return, and that has an
mm,
effect on this year, which will not be there. Second thing,
okay,
my interest rate is coming down. It now sub 10. Earlier interest rate was higher. So the
okay,
EBITDA jump is not that significant, but the PAT jump is higher, mainly
correct.
because of the improvement in the interest cost.
Okay, understood. Fine. So you got a better interest cost. That is the reason the profitability improved, right?
Switch over of the date from the structured date to NBFC date.
Okay, understood. Sir, one more thing which I wanted to understand is that, with incremental capacity coming in, you said margins will improve. Sir, Bhavesh bhai, this is, I think, a question hinted to you. Sir, in your main domestic product, in your main frontline product, what is the level of competitive intensity? Are there any other players who manufacture a similar product like us? Because, you said this is a frontline product for us. Is anybody else also manufacturing it, or do we have a dominant share in the market as of now?
So we have a dominant share in the market, that is for sure. There are other companies also who are offering this two-port IV fluid system. But out of all these companies, the company with a sizable capacity is Otsuka.
Okay,
And they are the ones who are actually putting some efforts in promoting also.
okay, fine. Correct.
So, uh, and that's the reason why we have decent traction in the market. So, competitive landscape is, I would say, is in three tiers. Uh, National level companies with this kind of product offering, there are 5 to 6 companies. Then you have regional companies and local companies. But
Okay.
you also have price cascading uh, downwards
Correct.
as you that's how it is. So reputed hospitals and doctors, they would generally prefer
Yeah,
companies who have national reputation.
exactly.
That is one. And because it's a new space, as per NPPA also, it's classified as a plastic container with special features.
Okay.
Special features would have two attributes. One is it must have two port, one for IV set, one for medication, and it should have complete collapsibility.
Ah, okay.
If it is not collapsible, then you must have seen in hospital they prick the container for air
Ah,
vent. So that
exactly.
is good practice. Globally, it's not acceptable.
Oh,
So These 5 companies that I talked about, we have product which is completely collapsible and drainable.
Okay, okay,
There is no risk of hospital contamination getting into the content.
okay, understood.
That's the reason there is a decent traction for these 5 companies. This I can put on record.
Okay, so I think
It's a
very
very,
nice to hear that, doctor. I think I think it's a very commendable thing because you deal with human life, so that
yeah,
is very important. So
yes.
this is really nice to hear. Shailesh, now on the most important question for this interview, we are planning to go public, so it's a historical milestone for Bhavesh Bhai since you have created this company, and it's very unique to know that a finance background and an investment banking professional has floated a pharma company. So sir, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. Tell us one thing, sir. How much money are we planning to raise from the capital market, and what is the main objective of utilization of these funds?
Sailesh,
So
you want to answer?
we are issuing 1 crore shares. The price band is rupees 120 to 126. So
Okay,
we are likely to collect around 125 to 126 crore rupees.
okay,
Out of that, 100 crore is for the two projects.
acha,
That is a study pot extension and the small volume parenteral. Study pot
okay,
extension is 90 crore. Total
hmm.
project is and SVP is 30 crores.
Okay.
Total project cost of both is 120. 20 is being put from internal accrual.
Amit bhai, now one more thing which investors would expect from you, since now you're going public, new equity partners would be joining you in your growth journey. Sir, on a longer term basis, what kind of message would you like to give them? Because this is a very unique business you have created and a very thriving business. So, sir, from a long term perspective, what is your thought process of rewarding these investors in the longer term? If you could give a small message.
I think the main source of profit or wealth creation is operations and the inherent nature of business. That's most important. So we will stay focused on manufacturing and developing sterile liquid products and be most efficient and differentiated manufacturer and marketer in this space. So uh, we are, I think, at the end of this expansion, we will not be only scaling up our business to different level, but we will have enough cash conservation accrual, as we call it, which can be used for making operations either efficient or growing the business.
Acha, Bhavesh bhai, now one thing on the operational side, since you are the main promoter, of the company, tell me one thing. What are your main functional areas? Like, do you look at getting new business relationships on board, nurturing existing relationship? How is the team, at your company, developed? Like Shailesh ji looks after the finance vertical, but apart from that, how is the team structured to ensure that all verticals are managed properly? I mean, at least if what you can tell us is what is your main functional role in the company?
So I think our entire senior management team and middle management team, if you do their aging, they're all 15 years and above.
Yeah,
I mean, with Amanta.
yeah.
So like our Sailesh Bhai, then marketing head and operations head, QA head, engineering head, they are all with us for more than 25 years.
Oh, very good.
And the middle management are 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. So we have very stable management team.
Correct.
And generally, when we develop a team, when we hire a person, and when the person continues, one thing is sort of validated that we all are different people, right? But if there is a approach can be different, but if the value systems are deviating from the norm, then that becomes a kind of misfit. So
Correct.
we all have worked together all these years, and we can safely construe that we are aligned in terms of basic belief system about management and value system. Focus is to always focus on developing business, cultivating new business opportunities. So, for instance, while we are talking about this, we are talking about IPO deployment. I'm already working on beyond 27
Okay.
because whatever we are doing right now will take care of companies, whatever growth journey up to 27 March.
Correct.
But what is it that we intend to do beyond 27? So I keep thinking about that, and if we meet in person, I'll be very happy to share with you also
Yeah,
at appropriate time. So
I think nice to know. Bhavesh, my last question now, which is very elementary and very important. We ask all the promoters, like, we run a very strong business model in a very critical product. Tell me one thing, apart from COVID, when everything went haywire, tell me one thing, what is the most important risk in our business? हमारे धंधे में, what is the most important thing you observe on a day-to-day basis so that everything is run smoothly and, the business continues to thrive on a very normal auto mode kind of basis? So if you could please tell us.
yeah, so the risk which I personally always identify, and this holds true for any pharma operation, is regulatory.
Ah,
Uh, like we had one product, it was doing very well. So in that there is a impurity profiling,
ah,
and one fine day we found that the impurity permissible was 0.5%. Suddenly pharmacopoeia reduced to 0.25%.
okay, okay.
From very next month we had to discontinue that product, again rework on the formulation
Exactly.
and the impurity levels.
Okay.
So these kind of regulatory challenges, they always they keep coming. Sometimes we have the renewal of our license in certain countries, it gets delayed.
Ah, exactly.
That can also impact. Sometimes in particular African countries, their government purchase programs are supported by the aid coming from US, Canada, Japan, Australia,
Yeah,
Europe, and so on and so forth.
yeah.
I think post COVID, this aid support has dwindled to an extent.
Okay. Okay.
So we can see the impact of that also. There are
Okay.
many businesses we're doing in African countries. They are not happening now.
Exactly.
But I can
Exactly.
also say that in spite of sacrificing those lucrative businesses, our EBITDA margin has still improved.
Okay.
So that's
Exactly.
the depth, so that's the depth we have generated in our business.
I think very, very credible, Bhavesh bhai. I think, so it means the runway for growth is very large, provided, there are no unexpected regulatory hurdles, which is part of the, sector, because if it affects you, it affects all the other players also. So
Yes.
anyway, sir, I think Bhavesh bhai and Shailesh bhai, it was my pleasure to host you, and I think all our investors would benefit from this conversation we had. Please accept my best wishes for you, your entire management team, and sir, best wishes for your forthcoming public issue also. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Avinash. It was nice talking to you.